Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. I appreciate you joining me. This is Todd Walters, Platinum Coach with Craig Proctor Real Estate Coaching, and I've been wanting to do a 30-minute to 1 hour long webinar on what I'm going to share with you today for an awful long time. And I'm going to tell you why. Many of the one-on-one consultations that I have with Platinum members, it seems like a direct mail to for sale by owners or expired listings or notice of defaults or some other targeted prospect. It's something that everybody's interested in, and or at least the ones that are I'm talking to. But many they suck at it. They fail miserably at getting good results from it. Now, out of all of the marketing systems that I did in my real estate career, I can tell you that direct mail was number 3. Direct mail to specifically expired listings and for sale by owners was number 3 on my lead generating list for getting listings. It was absolutely no question about it. So that's going to raise the question of, okay, Todd, what was number 1 and number 2? Well, now let me put that in perspective. When I say number 3 now, it generated, one listing a day, one listing every other day. Somewhere right in there would be the numbers. 1 to 2 listings every other day, no question about it. And I can honestly point my finger to that. Now, granted, this is at a time when we're selling hundreds of properties, and we're direct mailing quite a few people, and we're going to get into all that. And I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to encourage you to take some notes, and you're going to want to change some of the things you're doing right now. And if you're not doing any of this, you're probably going to want to get it rolling. Okay, so some of you say, okay, Todd, what was number 1? What was number 2? All right, number 1 was my sign calls. All right, on top of my for sale signs, it said, buy this home, I'll buy yours. And the majority of our listings that we got were move-up properties. Okay, properties that were in a price range that attracted move-up buyers. So when we say, hey, buy this home, we'll buy yours, well, guess what? They had a home to sell. So it was a huge listing getter. Right, so that was number 1. Our utilization of the guaranteed sale program via our for sale signs. And we drove people to our website. We talked about it on the radio, Talking House. Hey, if you got a home to sell, then we've got a program that can help you. We can guarantee that your home will sell before you take possession of your next one. We'll buy your home if it doesn't sell. And you can find out all about that and receive a free package by doing X. All right, so that's what we did. It was a commercial ongoing about that program. So signs, that was number 1 for getting sellers. Now, granted, I had lots of listings, 125 to 400 on any given day the last couple of years that I had my real estate business. So that was good leverage, huh? All right, so then, okay, what was number 2? What was number 2, Todd? It was the performance guarantees, editorial ads. One of the 2 were always in number 2 there in print marketing. Okay, so in print, local newspapers, I ran ads because that's what Craig told me to do, and it would produce high-quality leads, and I'll be darned if he wasn't right. And I encourage all of you that don't overlook the print media. I know the online marketing is exciting and it's new, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't have the right message to market match on your online marketing, you can produce leads, but they don't really go anywhere. Okay, so be real careful. Print, that was number 2. Number 3, direct mail, no question. Here's how it worked. Administrator walked into the office, and her job was to access and pull in all of the new prospects that we could market to that day. So we found expired listings through our MLS. We found for sale by owners through FSBO websites and companies that would provide us that information for a fee. Okay, so we added those prospects to our contact management system. And we launched activity plans that said, direct mail. And what we sent them over the years, we changed and we tested and we changed and we tested and we cycled with the markets and we changed our messages as frequently as necessary based on the testing. So I'm going to share with you some very specific things that you will need to know and you will need to do right to make this a very profitable system for you. And I'm going to give you some specific examples. And I've got a bunch of them here on my computer. You can see down here at the bottom I got lots of windows open, including the weather. Check that out. 78 degrees right now here in Atlanta, Georgia. So don't you wish you were here if you're somewhere where it's not 78. All right, so let's have some fun here, and let's make good use of our time together, okay? All right, now, first things first, I'm going to use a PowerPoint, and I'm going to pull up some Word documents and do some other things here that I think will help you. And I'll record this webinar, and we'll eventually get it posted. I usually hold webinars for at least a month before I post them. And some of you say, well, why do you do that? Well, for simple reasons. I want you on the webinars. I'm not doing these to record them and put them on the website for you to access later. This is intended for you to work on your business. Schedule times every month to work on your business for an hour or so. That's it. So it's my way of kind of forcing you to do that. All right. So the first thing we have to determine before we do anything is what in the world are we going to offer? What are we going to offer these motivated sellers, people that we've determined are motivated? Expired listings, for sale by owners, notice of defaults even, and that's a low priority for me. You know what, I'll go ahead and talk about that here for a minute. If you're in the United States and you're interested in people who are getting foreclosed on or have been served a notice of default, you know, that they're going to be get foreclosed on, those are not the best prospects in the world to direct mail. Okay, 90%, statistically, 90% of those people do not have their house on the market, hasn't been on the market, not going to be on the market. So it's a very, very tricky endeavor, okay? But it's worth testing because there are members that are on this webinar right now that are having great success with that, but a lot of them don't. So I just want to make you aware of that. It's tricky. It's tough. So it's going to depend on the culture in your marketplace, a lot with the media. Heck, you can stay in your house, I think, here in the United States for, depending on your state, for a year or more without making any payments on it before you get booted out. I mean, can you believe that? So what the heck am I interested in listing it today for? So anyway, I know we won't get into the politics of it, but we could have a discussion on that too, couldn't we? All right. So your message. So let's think about this. Are the prospects in your marketplace really interested in price? Are they really interested in a fast sell? Or are they nervous that their home will even sell at all? I mean, think about it. Which message do you want to take to the marketplace? Now, when we say marketplace, we're specifically targeting, say, expired listings and physical. They all react differently, right? There are different messages. So, for example, if you believe that the expired listing that you're going to target believes his home will sell anyway, but it was the agent. It was the agent's fault. The agent who had my home listed sucked. They didn't do a good job. They dropped the ball. It just the right buyer didn't come along. Okay, then what's most important to them? Is it a fast sell? Is it price? Look, the answer is I don't know because I'm not marketing to your prospects. But you're going to have to make that determination. And you can't get frustrated with your direct mail if the message doesn't pull well. You just have to test against it. So I want you to think in terms of, okay, who do I want to target? And let's say it's expired listings. Okay. Now, in an expired listing group, there are different categories. There are people that represent what I just described to you, those who think it's their agent's fault and the right buyer hasn't come along yet. So their primary concern is selecting the right agent if they're going to relist again, right? Then there are those expired listings who are in a situation where they got to sell really fast. You know, their home expired and they're, oh my God, I got to sell this thing. I need to sell right now. So speed, time. And then there are those others expired listings are like, look, if I don't get this price, I ain't moving. And still there's another category that says, you know, I just don't know if my home's going to sell at all. You know, I don't know if any agent can sell my house. Okay, so just an overall sell. So look, I'm going to encourage you to try to avoid being all things to all people and try to drill down on the expired listings. And you're only going to be able to do that through testing, and you'll find where the tipping point is in that group. It's going to take a little bit of time. Testing groups of 100. Don't try to email, or I'm sorry, direct mail hundreds at a time. Use groups that you can manage and test properly until you find the best message, and then you can expand it on a larger scale. Look, the future's going to come anyway. Like I know that you want me just to tell you the right magic pill, but I just told you the right magic pill, and it's to test. Take the headlines that we're going to look at, I'm going to share with you and some of the examples, and you change the language around to see what works the best. And you test in groups of 100. All right, that's it. Okay, so you're going to have to make that determination. Let's look at some examples. So I copied and pasted here. If you can see this, let me blow this up a little bit. I copied and pasted our 6 seller satisfaction guarantees, that we use exclusively in the Platinum program as good examples, like communication guarantee, honest promises guarantee, time frame for selling guarantee, price range guarantee. For every $5,000 we sell your home for below the agreed upon range, we'll pay you $200 cash. All right? A reality-based timetable. If we fail to get you an acceptable offer within 90 days, we'll pay you. So you throw a timeline in there. Okay? Honest presentation of experience and track record guarantee. Qualified buyers guarantee. So this should take care of just about every category that I laid out there in terms of where the majority of prospects that you're going to be marketing to, if it's an expired listing or a FSBO, what they fall into. Now, some of you are saying, well, Todd, should we use all of them? And the answer is, I don't think so. I like using them all in a seller or listing presentation if I'm having a difficult time closing the sale. But do I roll them all out at one time? Not necessarily, but as a pre-selling system, yeah. Okay, but to try to get their attention and get them to call me, there's going to be one button, and that will appeal to the majority. I'm going to encourage you to pick that one and go with it. Okay, so we'll look at some specific examples, but that 6 seller satisfaction guarantee, again, should run the gamut of all the expired listings, for example, or for. So there's one of these that's important to. Time, price, the agent's production or being able to trust them, the right buyer coming along. Okay, so you should be able to pick that up, and that's what you want to roll with, I believe, as your initial in or your promise or your performance guarantee. So which leads us to the next thing that we want to talk about, which is, what is it that we're offering? Why are we using a performance guarantee? And the answer is, well, look, when you market to expired listings, theoretically, you already have the lead, right? Like when you pull expired listings, you have the person's address and you have the person's phone number. And, if you don't have their phone number, you can probably get it from the internet. Like you have the lead. I know in our MLS, we get the phone numbers, so believe it or not. So, think about it. You have the lead. So I don't need to generate the lead. I have them. Here's the lead right here. This guy right here wants to sell. So the purpose of direct mailing is like, look, we can call them all we want to, but telemarketing and it's hard work, and you're not going to reach them on the telephone. They don't answer. It's very, very difficult. Instead of in calling one person, there's no leverage in it, when at one time I can direct mail all of them. Okay, in phoning and telemarketing, it has its place. Craig will tell you that it does have its place in our things, but that place, it's hard work, and there's no leverage in calling just one person. So why performance guarantee when we roll out our direct mail? Well, I think I just answered the question. We already have the lead. So now that we have the lead, the idea is to get this prospect to pick us out of all the other people that are contacting them and say, I want to talk to this guy. I want to talk to this gal. They seem to have it all together. Okay, so what is your performance guarantee going to be? And we're going to look at some examples in a minute that you're going to lead with and what the proper structure is. Okay, so now that we have an idea, let's just kind of take a look here of who we're going to market to and what our primary focus is going to be on our mailing. We're going to talk to people who are interested in getting their home sold fast. Okay, and that's going to be our primary message. We're going to get your home sold fast. So we're going to use that message, and we can relay it in many different ways. Okay, like fast, right here is if we fail to get an acceptable offer within 90 days, within 30 days, within 15 days, within 120 days. Like pick what your penalty is and how you're going to state it. Okay, but and that's the reason I'm showing you these $6 satisfaction guarantees. It gives you really good ideas to understand that. Okay, so we'll focus on the fast sell for today's webinar. How about that? All right, so now that we're going to use a fast sell and we know who we're talking to, we understand that we're only going to be getting expired listings who want a fast sell. People who don't want a fast sell, they're not going to be probably following through with our direct mail piece. Now again, I may come back behind this and test another 100 on getting their price and not even mention the speed of sale. We're just focus on price. All right, so you find, and then I may come along behind that and focus in on just getting your home sold. Like your home will sell or I'll buy it would be the USP to use for that, right? That's right. Okay, so now that we've got that picked out in our mind, let's go ahead and package our mailer. Okay. Now we have an initial mailer, we got follow-up pieces, and then we need to decide what our frequency is going to be. Like how many times are we going to hit these people? Okay, well, look, you're going to have to hit them more than once. And I'll just go ahead and tell you to save us on time, you're looking at somewhere between 5 and 8 pieces of mail or whatever your package is that's going to be delivered is going to be delivered between 5 and 8 times. Frequency, that's pretty easy. It's going to be every few days. The very first day, 2 days later to 5 days later to a week later, depending on how quickly expired listings in your marketplace are relisting. And you should be able to find that out. If people are relisting their home really fast, and that's the average, then I've got to get my information in their hand much faster. If they're taking 30 days to make a decision, on average, then I can spread it out a little bit. Okay, but you as the team leader, these are things you've got to know. So frequency, that's your call. Now for me, we would send an initial mailing on day 0. 2 days later, another one went out. 2 days after that, another one went out. And then we started going to 3 days out, to 5 days out, to 7 days out. Right? So that's how it worked for me. And that was based on testing. Okay, nobody can say, well, how, that doesn't work, or how does it work? Because I know, because I tested once a week, once every 5 days, once every day. We did all the testing, and it took months, sometimes years to do that. But when I figured it out, it made me a lot of money. So there is some patience involved in understanding how valuable testing is and the leverage in it. Okay? And some of you say, well, I don't have time to test. Okay. Then you don't have time to get extremely wealthy. Right? So there are no shortcuts to that. So I want to be really, really pointed on that. And you've got a myriad of material you can test here and that I'm giving you. All right. So that takes care of the frequency. Everybody understand that? All right. Maybe every day, maybe every other day, maybe every 5 days, maybe every 7 days. Okay? But again, it's 5 to 8 mail links. 5 to 8 times that they're going to receive whatever it is you're going to send them. Because you're going to discover when people call and when they don't call. If you've been sending 8 pieces of mail and you see that you get no leads, no responses between mailing number 6 and 8, then guess what? You don't have to send 6 and 8. You're done. If you see that 35% of your responses come after mailing 3, 25% come after mailing 5, 10% come after mailing 7, then you get to determine how you want to structure it. Do you send the extra 3 pieces to get to 10%, or is it a diminishing return based on your conversion rates? Now, look, some of you will give some pushback and say, man, that just sounds like a lot of work. I actually have to keep up with the business coming in. And the answer is, yeah, that's what the rainmaker's job is. Okay, if you want to experience true freedom down the road. Okay, so great information there. And these are things like, it's not that complicated to keep up with that and to find out the results. All right, so all right, let me get this out there real quick so I don't forget it. How do you track the results? That's right. You have info lines, IDs, and you have URLs that are probably different on every flyer. ID numbers for your info lines that are different on every flyer. And if you're talking to them live via having them call in, you ask. Or they will tell you. Most time they just tell you, look, I got this flyer in the mail that says X. Okay. All right, but you want to know. Do a survey if you don't. All right, but we're going to start. Look, we're going to start out with the simple today. But I'm giving you kind of all the components to really good direct mail systems, right? So sorry to keep staring at a white screen, but these are some things that are popping into my head that I think are important to you. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, who we're marketing to, what message we're going to pick, the frequency that we're going to follow, right? Now, what do we send? Okay, well, we're probably going to send our stuff in an envelope. All right, so let's take a look at what the envelope looks like. Now, what's in the envelope is real simple. Our message. You may or may not use a grabber. If we have time, I'll get into that. But your message is important with a good call to action. Like, it starts there. But you also should include testimonials and social proof. That's a biggie. Let me just repeat that. That's huge. Testimonials and social proof. Okay. All right, so let's take a look then at some envelope examples. Let me be real specific. This stamp here, this USA stamp, okay, obviously if you're in Canada, you're probably not using that one. But look, I don't like that stamp for direct mail. It's too common. I like this stamp, uncommon. As a matter of fact, the more obscure or the more loony the stamp is, the better. Now on your return label, Todd Walters, my address and all that, look, I would even have a picture on my return label. Maybe it's your photo or a photo of your dog or a photo of your cat or your kids. Okay? But what's on the outside of the envelope is going to dictate whether it gets opened or not. So what I've discovered is that coming up with a loony stamp and a personalized return label with the picture, that's not here on this example, but that's some recent discovery. We found that you can even go with a peel and stick label and it gets opened, because that's become a little more commonplace nowadays. But Craig Proctor would tell you that if you can handwrite the envelope and you can go with a loony stamp and a personalized mailing label, a return label, excuse me, and handwritten envelope, it's just virtually guaranteed to get open. And he's right. He's absolutely 100% correct about that. No question. Okay? But again, you can test and you can see what the diminishing return might be versus handwriting everything or using a pill and stick label or a handwritten font. Let's see if I have a, check this out. Yeah, you like this. Let me put this down here. All right, and let's go with Andrea. All right, so Craig Proctor. You guys see that? Make that as big, a little bigger there. All right, so that is a handwritten font that'll print automatically on the envelope. All right, so we found that that works pretty well, as long as you can find the right size font so that it mimics, regular handwriting. So that's another option. Looney stamp, customized mailing label, handwritten font, or handwritten envelope. Tough to beat that. Everybody got that? Your mail will get open. Okay, so now that we've got all that out of the way, let's look at the guts of this mailer. Like, what in the world are we going to say here, right? Oh, well, I'll give you this. Here's another example. Some Platinum members, Craig, he got great results with this Priority Express envelope. He thought it was fantastic. Dan Kennedy recommended that, and that worked out really well. You can order those from off the internet there. But I'm starting to get more bills and other advertisements and that stuff. So just because it's starting to become more common nowadays, that we just went with the envelope, right? Now in this envelope, you can see that there's some things on the $4,000 personal check enclosed. Enclosed, you'll find important real estate documents. Final notice, I'm waiting to hear from you. These are things you can write on your envelope to get them opened. Write, or have them printed in a handwritten font. Okay. So again, the idea is to get the envelope open, and I gave you some great ideas on how to do that. All right, now what are we sending? Now let's go down and let's look at something I found that seems to be working the best right now, and that's a two or three piece mailing that I like very much. So I did a little bit of editing on the one that I received recently that's testing the best right now among Platinum members. And this is what I came up with. You guys see my screen okay? Yeah. Okay. All right, so here's the flyer. This is a Word document right here. I'll scroll down, so you can kind of see the top and the bottom. But remember, we were after fast sale, right? That was our initial intent here, is we wanted to go after the expired listings that were interested in a fast sale. So we're talking specifically about what? Fast sale, all right? But I threw in a couple of variations of that here that I thought were pretty good, and I pulled from some other successful mailings, and this is what we came up with, okay? First of all, if you're going to make a performance guarantee, let me repeat this. Please listen. If you're going to promise somebody something, you need to have your picture on it. Now, you can put your team company logo and your RE/MAX emblem and all that stuff, but your photo, your personalized endorsement of your statement is impactful, more impactful than we take the photo out and we put in our team logo. I'm just telling you, it doesn't work as well. The results aren't as good. All right, so if you're trying to brand your team, that's fine, but you're going to need your photo there. It will diminish results. I had firsthand experience with that in my real estate office. When I changed my real estate company name to a new company to accommodate a business partner that I brought on, who was going to be my successor in the business as I went on to do other stuff, and she wanted the photo off of there. And I says, hey, when you take my photo off, results are going to go down. I don't care. So just give you the mindset of that. But look, you got to be real careful and decide what's most important to you. And for me, it was the results. Okay. I don't care whose photo is up there. Could have been anybody, but it needs to be whoever's making the statement, right? Okay. Your home sold in 30 days guaranteed. Your price, or I'll pay you $3,000. Okay. Now, why 30 days and why $3,000? The answer is I don't know. You're going to have to decide what the days needs to be and what the performance penalty should be if there is one. Okay? Your home sold in 90 days. Your home sold in 1 day. Your home sold in 17 days. Okay? But the idea is that we're after people who are interested in a fast sale, and typically a home selling within a month is a pretty good guarantee. And you may find that even saying that your home sold within the next month, guaranteed, is a better way than saying 30 days. Okay, so I want you to be open to these things. I want you to test in groups of 100. You're going to get leads, but you're not going to know if what you're sending is the jackpot if you don't test against it. Just be mindful of that and be patient, and you will get what you want. I'm telling you, it will lead to an absolute gold mine for you if you will follow it through. Okay? Guaranteed at your price. You can see we threw in here your price because after testing, that just seemed to play really well. But again, we're not direct mailing to your prospects here. This is somebody else, right? So I want to encourage you to be careful about that. All right, or I will pay you $3,000. $3,000 cash or just $3,000? Which one might get the best results? So we don't want to overcomplicate it today. Your home sold in 30 days. Guarantee your price or I'll pay you $3,000. Okay. Now, what do we want them to do? We want them to call us, right? Do you want them to go to your website? It depends on what your website does. My guess is no. You want them to call. You already have the lead. You don't need to regenerate the lead. And I'm going to talk about the website here in a minute. But look, call me now to discuss a sale. Here's my phone number. And just before you call, Mr. Seller, I want you to know there's no obligation that when you call, you have to list your home with me. Okay? This is to discuss a sale. So that's the message that we're trying to get across. You call me, we'll discuss a sale. Okay, so direct number or whatever number you want to use that will target or track your marketing. Now the website. Okay, many of you will do this. Your home sold in 30 days, guarantee your price, or I'll pay you $3,000. 770-955-1818 or www.yourhomesoldfast.com. So what's happening is two things there. Number one, you're assuming that I know what to do, and that's a bad assumption to make. And the second thing is you're not really telling me what I'm going to get when I go to your website. Or worse than that, you will even tell me that you can call now to discuss a sale, or you can go to my website for more details. I don't understand. What details? You're going to sell my home in 30 days, or you're going to pay me $3,000. What kind of details are you going to give me? You're not going to disclose the conditions to them, right, when they go to your website. So what are the details? So I go to your website, and I land on the page, and what I get it basically is a restatement of your performance guarantee. And then you tell me to fill out the form, and you'll call me. So that's not the purpose of your website. Your website is a direct response machine to give away free information in exchange for their contact info. All of your marketing does that, but for whatever reason, many of you in your branded marketing on performance guarantees falls well short of it, and you wonder why you don't quite get the results from that. Okay, so now you can give away a free report that details the inner workings of your guaranteed or performance guarantee. You could do that. Okay, hey, if you're not quite ready to talk to me, you're not quite ready to discuss the sale, but we've put together a free report that details the inner workings of this guarantee. But again, I don't know what the inner workings are. Your home sold in 30 days, guaranteed, or I'll pay you. So again, I'm not real big on that use of the website that way. It doesn't seem to be working that well and hasn't over the years. Okay, so that's why I like this site. Okay, this is the Listings by Noon site. If you don't know what that is, you can go to www.listingsbynoon.com. www.listingsbynoon.com. Write that down, listingsbynoon.com. Again, one more time, listingsbynoon.com, and you can watch a video on it. This is a landing page that House Buyer Network put together for Platinum members that has since been made available to the general public and other agents. But you'll get your own URL, and it's real simple. Or get to this website to discover how easy it is to get the price you want and need super fast. So when I go to this website, let's pull it up. What do you say, huh? $800sellfast.net, is that it? You know, it's not giving me a lot of details because there really are no details to get. I'm not telling the prospect that I'm even going to give them details. So let's go back and pull it back up again. I'm not telling the prospect I'm going to give them any details. I'm just saying go there to discover how easy it is to get the price you want and need. So maybe it's the same thing that many of you are trying to say when you say get more details, but come on, we want them to call. We want them to call us. So let's shoot for that, and let's use the website for brand and marketing. What it's intended to do is to move them through the process. Okay. Otherwise, you got to use direct response. You need to totally rewrite your landing pages to offer up a free report of some kind for those who are not ready to talk to you directly. Okay, that's what you can do with your flyers, and you've seen those examples. All right. That's why I like this, because look, there is no details. Your home's going to sell, or we're going to freaking pay you. Okay. There's some conditions, but I mean it's simple. So call me or go to the website to see how easy it is. So they go to the website, and I showed you how that works. Need to sell your house fast? You're in the right place. It's easy to get started. Just type in your zip code. Type in a zip code. It gives me 2 steps. I'm filling out forms, which basically are designed to get a cash offer on my home. Okay. So I like that landing page in conjunction with that. Now, what's other critical elements on this flyer that seem to work really well are this right here. Check it out. According to a recent survey by the Multiple Listing Service, 78% of all homes do not sell with the agent they choose to list it with the first time. That same survey reveals 61% of those same sellers fail to sell their home again when relisting with the same agent. So here's the deal. Don't do that. Don't be relisting with the same agent again. That's a mistake. You can avoid this $23 billion mistake. That's what we're telling you. Now, you can do the research in your market and decide what the values are and what the percentages are, or have Leon help you with that. But man, that's a great stat, isn't it? So if you've been looking for an edge there, that's a statement that I think that will help you. Yes, I'm glad you like it. All right. And then I'm just giving a couple of details of what's included in this mailer. Okay. What do we say here? It will cost you nothing to discuss a sale, but not calling me according to the survey rest above could be hazardous to your bank account. Now, do we need to throw that in there? Probably not, but it does reiterate and soften up that, look, it's not doesn't cost you anything to talk to me. So it's a nudge. Now, again, we already have the lead, so we're going right at them here. It's a little more hard selling. 3 important details. We guarantee you, okay, this guarantee, which is what the first page is. Take a look at the proof of results on the back side of this letter. Proof you will get more money in less time with less hassle. So we're going to call that social proof. And I've enclosed a few stories as told by your former neighbors. So you can see that that's what the mailing is. This flyer, proof of results, and testimonials. Okay? And we close up this first page by the call to action again. There is a difference in real estate agents, the services they provide, and the results they get. You owe it to yourself to see firsthand the difference that can benefit you. I like that. So that's a good solid flyer. It will work. It'll work for you if you use it this way, but the message here is going to dictate your results, right? And you can change colors, and you want to test all that. like, let's pick a color. There's red. Okay, so you'll want to test those kind of things to see what gets good results and what doesn't. But I wouldn't get all crazy. These are expired listings. Okay, you don't need to spend gobs of money on high glossy type paper. You can do all that if you want to and tell yourself that it makes a big difference, but I would encourage you to test it all. All right, so let's take a look in at the social proof enclosure. Let's go there, flyer number 2. Here we go. So I decided to use Nathan Clark's social proof example up in Rhode Island. And his social proof example has some statements about it. You're just much more likely to get your money. So he's using some statistics here. What you get with Nathan, what you get with the other guys. Okay? And he gives them an example of more money in your pocket. And he puts all of his testimonials on here as well. So nice job there, Nathan. Good social proof there. But you probably could consider using the whole page for statistics. Your home will sell faster. On average, our listings sell, whatever it is, 67% faster. Our days in the market is this compared to the other agents blank, and use a graph to chart that. Our listings sell for more money, so use your sales price to list price statistics and ratio to prove that. Okay, and another one is your home's just much more likely to sell, and use statistical proof to do that. So I would recommend that you take what he put across the top here, sales price to list price ratio, and he basically said it 3 different ways. Okay, is that you go sales price to list price ratio, days on market, likelihood of sale. Okay, everybody got that? But I wanted to show somebody else's example that I thought was really good in terms of social proof. But I want to use the whole backside for statistical proof, because my next enclosure takes the cake on testimonials. Plus, man, this is fine print here. I'm an old guy. I'm like 43 now, and I can hardly read this, and I got it blown up to 100%. I can read the big print. Otherwise, I got to get my magnifying glass out on that 8-point font. So anyway, but you get where I'm going with that, right? So the backside of your flyer, statistical proof, how fast you sell, how much more money you get, and the percent greater, the likelihood that it's even going to sell. I guess I could pull down another example of all that, but I don't think we don't have enough time for that. So, all right, so those are first 2. Let's look at enclosure number 3. Everybody watching this webinar right now should have one of these. If you don't have one of these, you are really missing the boat. This is a book that it's a testimonial booklet. That's what we called it. And this is Craig's, so I throw his example up here. And you can see it's 129 reasons your home will sell faster for top dollar. And there's Craig's real estate team, right? And inside the book are stories of what the client's stories are and the outcomes in pictures, okay? And you can see it's 25 pages long. And I'm just kind of flipping through them here real fast. A storybook of success. All right, and there's Craig's team at the time. Now, some of you are saying, but I don't have all those testimonials. Well, come on, you can get them. At the very least, you can do this, right? You can just state facts. 56 Amber Hill Way in Aurora, sold in 9 days for 109% of the asking price. You probably got lots of those, and Craig obviously pulled in a whole bunch of statistics on that, right? So you could probably fill it. So at the very least, you have to do that. But look, let's go back to these stories. You could just state a fact like Mr. and Miss Smith's home at 1065 Gunner Court was on the market with 3 other agents for well over a year and no sale. But They called Todd Walters, based because of a flyer they got in the mail that said they'd guaranteed to sell them their home. And 33 days later, after listing with Todd, it was under contract for 101% of the asking price. All right, so that's not coming from Mr. and Ms. Smith, for example, but it's a statement of fact. Okay, but of course, it's really hard to beat the pictures. Now, the book is great because it doesn't require effort. If you send a DVD, it's going to require some effort. You got to put it in, and you got to listen, watch it, and all that stuff. CD, same thing. So the book requires no effort. It has shelf life, and anybody can pick it up and look at it at any given time. So we like that. Craig and I are big proponents of this, and I recommend that everybody have one. It's a game changer for your mailers and direct mail, and we spent a lot of money on getting it set up and done. But it doesn't cost you much to do this anymore. Okay, so there you go. So there's your 3 enclosures. Now, let's talk about some variations. Let me get back to our original PowerPoint. Let's talk about some variations here inside the flyer. Okay. So what can some of the variations be? Well, you can send an audio CD. I just mentioned that to you. We have, and many of you have, my radio interview on CD that we had a mock interview done with the radio personality on all about our home selling system. That thing's fabulous. Okay, so that could be sent. The DVD on testimonials, stories, actual live stories from your clients, that could be sent. This whole flyer that I shared with you could actually be recorded onto a CD and sent. In other words, your own words, basically just an audio flyer of you telling the story and then telling me what to do. Okay, so those are some variations that you can enclose in the envelope. But these 3 things here, this first page that has the performance guarantee, the second page that has statistical proof, the third page, which is a testimonial book, or at the very least testimonials. Look, that's the mainstay. You got to have those components and elements. All right, great. So now you have your flyer. Now what do you do? Well, it's real simple. You send that sucker. Day 1, day 3, day 7. Day 8, you just keep sending it over and over again. There's no need to send a bunch of different things, okay? But you send it. Now, some of you are sending postcard. You'll send a flyer, then you'll send a postcard. I know some of you are getting really good results on that, but I want to encourage you to test it. So what we would do is we would take that flyer that we just showed you, and on mailing number 3, we'd put a sticky note out here. A sticky note that would say, this is our 3rd attempt to try to reach you to discuss a sale. So they had to tear the sticky note off to read the flyer. Mailing number 4 was another sticky note. This is our 4th attempt to try to get your attention. We believe we can get your home sold super fast. Please call. And then there was another sticky note on mailer number 5. This is our 5th and final attempt to reach you. We'll assume that you're no longer interested in selling your home or discussing a sale. Okay? So we let them know, like, we're not going to contact them anymore. Mailer number 6 may have a sticky note attached to it that said, we thought we would try one more time. Please call us to discuss a sale. So it's the same 3 flyers, but we changed the dynamics of it by just putting a simple sticky note on it that we have pre-printed, peeled and stick. And again, you can enclose an audio CD, the radio interview CD, or the testimonial DVD at any given time if you want to. But those become really expensive for us. But hey, if it made a big difference, I would be sending them. And you won't know until you test it. Okay? So those are some great examples for you on your follow-up sequence. Now, finally, we would get around to sending this. Okay? And it would basically be a letter from a former neighbor. And it would go out somewhere between number 5 and number 8, or as number 5 or as number 8 mailing. And we got this from Mr. Dan Kennedy. And you can see that it's a fairly lengthy letter. Okay? And the way I like to send it is I would send this flyer sequence that we've looked at today, but I would have this letter folded up, just folded in this front and back, and it would be a letter from your former neighbor. So they open it up. It's inside the envelope with the flyer sequence. They open it up, and this is what it says. We didn't call Todd Walters when we needed to sell our home. And then, of course, that's going to be interesting because I've been pounding them in the head to call me. So they'll read on. And if you read on, it says, we listed our home with another agent. It didn't sell. It was a huge mistake. Cost us this, cost us that. So, you know what? We did what we should have done the first time. We called him. Boy, are we glad we did. Look what happened. He did this, he did that, he got us this, he got us that. Okay, and it's a great letter from a former neighbor. Now, does it have to be their next door neighbor? No. Can it be a neighbor down the road? Yeah. Can it be a neighbor, in another subdivision down the road? Sure. I mean, depending on how you use the word neighbor. So you can fly a little loose with that and make that happen. So you can see this is very powerful. Letter from former neighbor, and this is exactly how it worked. So that, my friends, is your direct mail marketing campaign. How you do it. Okay, that's the makeup of it, and that's what it should look like. And if you'll follow those simple rules, you're going to get good results here, and I think you'll find success with it. And look, I want you to be successful with your direct mail. So there shouldn't be any more questions about how do we do it? What's the frequency? What should it say? Because you've got great examples and you're going to test them. All right, so let's go back real quick to our initial mailing. And what do we do here? Well, we're going to change this if we have to. Your home sold, or I'll buy it, for example. Okay? And then you can say that 9 ways to Sunday. Your home sold at a price acceptable to you, or I'll buy it. Your home sold, or I'll buy it at a price acceptable to you. Right? Now, of course, when we go down that road, we may have to change some of the other things that we're saying here. And the testimonials will reflect people talking about that performance guarantee. Okay? Let's see. What else? Okay, let's go with price. Price is a big factor. Okay? Your home sold for 100% of your asking price, or I'll pay you the difference. How about that? Okay, so price is a big deal. All right, so anyway, and of course, I showed you the 6 seller satisfaction guarantees that we use exclusively in the Platinum program that will represent great examples to leverage as well. So I'll throw those back up there real quick and pause the screen on that. Okay, so we talked about quite a bit today over the last hour, but it is a great lesson for direct mail to motivated sellers. Okay, and it's everything that I know that's working right now, that has worked in the past, and from some of the best real estate agents on the planet, okay, including myself and Craig Proctor. So hopefully you made some great notes today, and you'll be able to put together some great pieces, and you'll be able to put me on your mailing list. That's right. Put me on your mailing list. Pretend like I'm the prospect. Are you ready? Here's my address. 1065 Gunter Court, Gunter Court, Alpharetta, that's Alpharetta, Alpharetta, Georgia, 30022. So just pretend like I'm the prospect. Send me your stuff, and if I get it and it sucks, I'm calling you. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Who are you trying to attract with this? Okay. Some of you put me on your list, and I got like one piece of mail. I'm like, okay, well, I put it to the side, and guess what? I didn't call you. All right, so I'm telling you, you got to send me all 8 or 5 or however many you're mailing out with your follow-up sequence, with the sticky note examples like I gave you, or the postcards. Like, pretend like I am your prospect and direct mail me. Okay, and we'll see how many of you do that. But hey, when you send me stuff, I typically will get around to even commenting on it. But if it's really bad, I'm telling you, I'll comment on it. Don't count on that. If it's good, I'm not saying anything unless you ask me about it. Okay, so, but I think it's a good idea. Pretend like I'm a customer. All right, so with that, that's going to wrap up our webinar. Hope you had some fun today and got some great notes. And I think I answered all of your questions as we went through the webinar based on questions you were posting. So if I didn't, follow up, send me a question via email at tw@toddwalters.com. That's tw@toddwalters.com, and I'll respond as quickly as I can to get it answered. All right? So with that, let's go sell some houses. We'll talk to you guys real soon now. Thanks.